The nuclear bomb on Hiroshima and Fukushima were probably the most important events in the last century. This event caused a worldwide tension between multiple countries. But what maybe became most noticeable was the fear for another one of those devastating events. This time though, we are looking into probably the most iconic structure of this time. And that is the nuclear fallout shelter, which could house over 250,000 people if needed. Join us and discover with us the dark past of this forgotten structure. We started our adventure at the entrance, hidden somewhere in the middle of a city. To protect the location though, we won't show you the surroundings of the entrance. When inside, there was a rather unpleasant surprise awaiting us. The bunker was partly flooded.
Ja, nat worden ze sowieso.
While it wasn't that much, it was still enough to completely flood my shoes. But nevertheless, we continued to head further inside the bunker. The first room we came across was absolutely huge and resembled some sort of parking garage. I actually don't know why there was a parking garage in this part of the bunker, but maybe it was a part to store equipment or other stuff. Nevertheless, we first decided to take a left to explore that part first. In this part we came across multiple small entrances, which came out in a sort of hallway. In the hallway we found a couple of rooms. Next to these rooms there were a ton of bathrooms. You could really sense just how massive this underground facility was and how complex the whole system must have been if it ever went in operation. But okay, it's time to proceed back to the big central hall we just came from. In the hall we came across yet another room. This time it was labeled as Küche, which means kitchen in German by the way. Unfortunately it was completely empty. So with this part done, we decided to give Wright a chance. We heard that this facility housed a beautiful central control room, which controlled the whole facility. So let's try to find that one. But while walking there, let me tell you the brief history of this former bunker. Like I explained in the intro, bunkers like these were built in massive quantities in the 50s and 60s. This small city had a pretty impressive bunker network though. In the 60s this city counted 3 bunkers, which could house 250,000 persons each. The general information or photos are quite scarce though, due to it being classified nearly its whole lifespan. But nevertheless, let's skip a bit in time to the 90s. At this time nuclear tensions quickly seemed to disintegrate, and in 1992 the Soviet Union also collapsed, which meant an end to the decade-long fear. Shortly after this, many bunkers were put out of operation, including this one. In 2010 it was cut off the power grid for good, which made it abandoned. But let's continue our exploration. We first came across a pretty long hallway. With yet another bathroom. This one was designed a bit more luxurious and bigger. Ah, finally, we got into the main highlight of this location, which was this truly stunning control room. This room was responsible for fresh oxygen, power and water, if it was ever put in operation. It's always nice to come across old control rooms like these. But personally, I really enjoyed the fact that this one is hiding somewhere in the middle of a city, without anyone knowing of it. For me, it's truly where urban exploration is all about. But well, next to the control room, a big diesel generator was standing. This one was pretty much the beating heart of this facility. If this unit failed, the oxygen supply also failed, which would be catastrophic. Talking about oxygen, let's take a look in that system. A bit further in the hall, the filter room was located. And they sure weren't your ordinary filters. These units were able to filter out radioactive particles, which would litter the air in the case of a nuclear attack. So the real heavy duty stuff. Next doors we came across a stairwell. But unfortunately this was all sealed up by concrete. And it was probably flooded as well. So with this, we will end our exploration of this former fallout shelter. We were actually quite lucky of exploring this former place. This is due that there was just a small time slot where it was accessible. Nowadays it's probably covered once again with a new construction site where it will be hidden once again.